sometimes it feels like we're trading tomorrow for today, right? We're just kicking the can down the road. And a lot of the issues we have in the world, if we had more personal, individual responsibility for our actions and maybe start to reevaluate and look at the systems we currently have and say, well, it is really nice to have some of these eggs every single day. But what if, instead of me having to rely on somebody else to produce my eggs for me every single day, every week, what if I recognize that there's a season where there's an abundance and seasons when there is less, and I change my eating habits to conform to those natural rhythms? Or what if I learn to preserve that harvest when it's in season, right? What about getting, when those eggs are coming out and those birds are kicking them out every day, I'm actually storing, or rather gathering those eggs in abundance and then processing, preserving, treating them in such a way that they will actually be there for me in the future and my family in the future when the birds are not producing. Because maybe like now, where they've diverted their energy away from egg production into mothering and raising the next brood that will then feed us into the future, right? So kind of looking at that. How can we sacrifice a little bit of our short-term gratification and this need all the time to be satisfied for a much longer fulfillment, right? Because the future's still going to come. It's still going to be there. And the problems we have today we're going to have in the future. I mean, these aren't really like evolutionary concepts. You know, this has just been going on, just natural rhythms forever. And it's easy to forget. And so it's been on my mind quite a bit this morning now that the chickens have been not laying. And first we had one hen, the evil hen. She went on the nest. She looks like a raptor. Just evil looking. And then, before you know it, all the nest boxes are filled up with hens sitting on nests. So that's probably all my ramblings for now. My thoughts from the farm while I'm out here working. The hens have slowed down. Egg production has slowed down. I've slowed down. We're switching gears. So there'll be a little period where we don't have that much for eggs, just a few here and there for some of the remaining hens that aren't really sitting. And then, then once eventually we'll have chicks again. And it'll be a little while till those new chicks, those little poults have kind of fledged and moved away from the mother, that she begins laying eggs again. But by then we're coming to summer. She'll fatten up for the fall. We'll have a drop off in winter. Those just kind of ebbs and flows that always happen. But it's a good time to start thinking about what can I gather in season and preserve it at home, and then I have it when it's not available. And you could just plug and play anything here, especially when it comes to food. Is there seasons when tomatoes are ripe? What about apples? Instead of having to go to the grocery store and try to rely on apples from Mexico or wherever they're coming from, we have an abundance like everywhere. Like apples are just, even if they're not in order, they're just everywhere all the time. And they're in the fall, so many of them. Like, how can you gather them then and then preserve them to have them in the future? And now you're no longer having to rely on external sources for these things. Now I'm not saying that, you can do it with everything if you want, but it gets to be a certain point where anything you can offset and take ownership, I think, is a step in the right direction, for yourself and for everybody. So if you think along that line, well, then I encourage it for sure. And it's nice to see. If nothing else, you have a little bit more food security in your life. If we're looking at Maslow's hierarchy, like food is water, shelter, like having fire, like there's some real basic foundational things in our lives that we can be doing to have increased self-security, sufficiency. So anyway, I'm just rambling. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.